Hello friends, welcome to UPSC Logics, and this is the next part in the UPPCS special series. So this is part 9, and in this particular video I have covered around 200 questions in one line format for quick revision. And the questions are dealing in fundamental duties, the president, the parliament, and the vice president, and there are around 600 questions based on this particular chapter. So I shall be doing these questions in three parts, and part 10 and 11 shall be dealing with similar topics but different questions. So without wasting any time, let's start. The concept of fundamental duties was borrowed from the Constitution of Russia. Which committee recommended for the inclusion of fundamental duties into the Constitution? It was Sardar Swaran Singh Committee. Sardar Swaran Singh Committee was formed in the year 1976 by the Congress Party. How many fundamental duties were originally recommended by the committee? There were 8 in number. The fundamental duties of Indian citizens were added to the Constitution by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act on 11 December 1976. The fundamental duties of Indian citizens were incorporated into the Constitution in 1976. For the breach of fundamental duties, an action cannot be initiated in any court. What is the remedy available for the breach of fundamental duties under the Constitution? Filing a writ petition. Fundamental duties were incorporated into the Constitution to curb subversive and unconstitutional activities. The fundamental duties of citizens are contained in Article 51A, Part 4A of the Constitution. The ratio between the length and breadth of the Indian national flag is 3:2. Respecting our national flag and national anthem is a fundamental duty. National song Bande Matram was written in 1875 by Bankim Chand Chatterjee in his novel Anand Mat. Indian national anthem Jan Gan Man was adopted by the Constituent Assembly as the national anthem of India on 24th of January 1950 and was first sung on 27th December 1911. The national flag of India is a horizontal tricolor of deep saffron, kesari representing courage and sacrifice at the top, white representing peace and truth in the middle, and deep green faith and chivalry at the bottom in equal proportions, and in the center wheel representing progression was adopted by the Constituent Assembly of India on 22nd of July 1947. The protection and improvement of environment, including forest and wildlife of the country, is enshrined in fundamental duties as well as directive principles of state policy. The duty to protect and improve the environment is enshrined under the Article 51A, Part G. By what amendment and with and which year child education became compulsory between ages of 6 to 14 years? This was done through the 86th Amendment Act in the year 2002, and the article that was included was Article 21A. The fundamental duty cannot be enforced by writs. It can be promoted by constitutional methods. The concept of judicial review has been borrowed from the Constitution of Switzerland. Can a retired judge of the Supreme Court be asked to sit in the Supreme Court? The answer is yes. Natural justice means just, fair, and reasonable action. Article 254 of the Constitution deals with dominance of union laws over state laws in case of any conflict between the two. Under the Indian Constitution, the subjects of administration have been divided into three lists. India is known as parliamentary democracy because the executive is responsible to the parliament. In parliamentary form of government, the Council of Ministers are responsible to the Parliament. The President of India is an integral part of the Parliament. The Parliament may confer, by law, any functions on the authorities concerned except the President. All the executive powers and the defense forces of the Union shall be vested in the President. In India, mandamus will lie against both officers and government. The power to establish new states in India rests with the Parliament. When can the President refer a matter to the Supreme Court for its opinion? When a matter is of public importance. A high court for two or more states or union territory may be established by law by Parliament. The Supreme Court propounded the theory of basic structure of the Constitution in the Keshwanandan Bharti case 1973. How many judges sat on the bench to hear the landmark case of Keshwanandan Bharti versus State of Kerala in 1973? 13. Which of the following is not a constitutionally mandatory body? It is the Commission for Center-State Relations. The appellate jurisdiction of the Supreme Court does not involve in disputes arising out of pre-constitutional treaties and agreements. In India, the power of judicial review is enjoyed by the Supreme Court only. The Chief Justice and other judges of the High Court are appointed by the President. In criminal matters, the highest court of appeal in a district is Court of Second Class Magistrate. Who is the chairman of the Rajya Sabha? It is the Vice President. The Speaker is elected by the members of the Lok Sabha. How many times the President can seek re-election to his post? It is infinite times. Who acts as a President when neither the President nor the Vice President is available? It is the Chief Justice of India, and in case the Chief Justice is also not available, the senior most judge of the Supreme Court takes over this particular charge. In the presidential election in India, every elected member of the Legislative Assembly of a state shall have as many votes as there are multiples of 1000 in the quotient obtained by dividing the population of the state by the total number of elected members of the assembly. A bill for the purpose of altering the boundaries of any state shall be introduced in either of the House of the Parliament with the recommendation of the President. Which is the committee recommended for reorganization of states? It was the Fazal Ali Committee. Which act has been enacted by the Parliament by exercising its power under the Article 3 of the Constitution? It is the States Reorganization Act. States will be reorganized by the Parliament under the Article 3 of the Constitution on linguistic basis. A bill for the purpose of reorganization of states shall be introduced in either of the houses of the Parliament with the prior approval of the President. How many subjects are there in central state and concurrent lists? It is 97 subjects in the central list, then 66 in the state and 47 in the concurrent list. India opted for a federal form of government on the grounds of linguistic and regional diversity. How many Anglo-Indians and other members can be nominated by the President to the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha? So 2 members from the Anglo-Indian community can be nominated by the President to the Lok Sabha, and 12 members are nominated to the Rajya Sabha, and these members do not take part in the presidential election. In which year Delhi got the status of a state? It was 1993. How many seats are reserved for the members of the scheduled tribes in the Lok Sabha? It is 30. Which state became the 28th state of the Indian Union? It was Jharkhand, and the 29th state is Telangana. Who will preside over the joint session of both the houses of the Parliament? It is the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. And in case the Speaker of the Lok Sabha is not available, then it is the Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha. In case the Deputy Speaker is also not available, then it is the Deputy Speaker of the Rajya Sabha. And in case he is also not available, then whomsoever the members of both the houses choose, he presides over a joint meeting. The President will decide the question as to disqualification of the MPs in the consultation with the Election Commissioner. Which article empowers the President to give his assent to bills? It is Article 111. Which article authorizes the President to seek an advice from the Supreme Court? It is Article 143. The central, state and concurrent list indicate divisions of legislative power. Economic planning is a subject in the concurrent list. Railway is a subject under union list. Lotteries organized by the state government come under the state list. Distribution of subjects between the center and the states is enumerated under the 7th schedule. Sarkaria Commission was appointed by the government to report on the center and state relations. Planning in India derives its objectives from the directive principles of state policy. Which of the taxes is exclusively assigned to central government by the Constitution? It is the corporation tax. Parliament of India is composed of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and the President. The first session of the Parliament after the general election is mandatory. The first session of the Parliament is called the budget session. Lok Sabha is superior to the Rajya Sabha because it can oust the Council of Ministers through a vote of no confidence. It is directly elected and it alone controls the purse. How many MPs of Lok Sabha shall support a motion of no confidence in the government before it can be admitted by the Speaker? It is 50 members. Which among the following is identified as a democratic chamber? It is the Lok Sabha. Which among the following is described as knowledge house? It is the Rajya Sabha. Composition and function of Rajya Sabha points towards a federal character. What is the method of electing members to the Rajya Sabha from the Union territories? It is as described or laid down by the Parliament. The representation of the states in the Rajya Sabha is given by in proportion to the state population. The President of India may from time to time dissolve the Lok Sabha. The President and governors are immune from civil liability during their term of office. Which article of the Constitution gives protection to the President and the governors? It is Article 361. An ordinance promulgated by the President when one house is in session is valid. The ordinance making power of the President is subjected to the control of the Parliament. An ordinance can be promulgated on the subjects mentioned in List 1 and List 3. Parliament has exclusive power to make laws with respect to any matter enumerated in List 1. State legislature has exclusive power to make law with respect to any matters enumerated in List 2. If any matter is not enumerated either under the concurrent list or under state list, then who has the power to legislate on such matters? It is the Parliament. Who has the power to make laws on the subjects enumerated under List 3 of the 7th schedule, both Parliament and the state legislature? A resolution passed by the Rajya Sabha empowering the Parliament to legislate under List 2 on national interest should be supported by two-thirds members present and voting. Parliament has power to legislate under the state list on the grounds of national interest if Rajya Sabha passes a resolution to that effect. A resolution passed by the Rajya Sabha empowering the Parliament to legislate under state list shall remain in force for a maximum period of 1 year. Law made by the Parliament on any subject is uniformly applicable to all states. The law made by the Parliament cannot be declared as extraterritorial. If the law made by the Parliament is inconsistent with the law made by the state legislature under List 3, which law has the effect? It is the law made by the Parliament. A fund which is utilized to meet the unforeseen expenditure is entitled as Contingency Fund. The usual expenditure of the Government of India is charged from the Consolidated Fund. The custody of Contingency Fund of India is with the President. What is the term of parliamentary committees appointment by the President? So it is appointed for a period of 1 year. A select or joint committee of the two houses of the Parliament is formed by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Which of the following has been wrongly listed as standing joint committee of the two houses of the parliament? It is the Committee of Government Assurances. Which of the following committees of the parliament has the largest membership? It is the Estimates Committee. Parliament's Standing Committee for Scrutiny of Grants of various ministries comprises of 30 members from Lok Sabha and 15 members of Rajya Sabha. The Parliamentary Subject Committee, there are 17 committees in total, and it was introduced in 1993 on the recommendation of Rules Committee of the House. The main advantage of the Standing Committee is that the Parliament is able to examine the grants of all ministries and departments in detail. One of the main advantages of the Standing Committee is MPs of Rajya Sabha are able to exercise indirect control over financial matters. The Standing Committee, apart from examining the grant of all ministries and departments, are able to examine long-term policies, bills of technical nature, and annual reports of ministries and departments. When an advance grant is made by the Parliament, pending regular passage of the budget, it is called vote of account. Who is having the power to summon and dissolve the House of Parliament, which is the Lok Sabha, and it is the President? Who can be removed for violation of Constitution by the process called impeachment motion? It is the President. The seat of a MP can be declared vacant if he/she is without the permission of the House absent from the meeting of that House for a period of 60 days. The first session of the year commences with the address by the President in the Parliament. The first hour of every sitting in both the Houses of Parliament is devoted to the question hour. What are the timings followed for the question hour in the Parliament House? It is 11 to 12. What are the timings followed for the 0 hour in the Parliament of the House? That is 12 to 1. The maximum duration of the 0 hour in minutes in Lok Sabha can be 60 minutes. 0 hour is the period immediately following the question hour when the members voice their concerns on various matters of public importance. The immediate hour after the question hour in the Lok Sabha is called the 0 hour. Who presides over the joint sessions of the Parliament? It is the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. What is the minimum age in years for becoming the MP of a Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? For Lok Sabha it is 25 years and for Rajya Sabha it is 30 years. Which bill cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha? It is the money bill. The system of impeachment of the president is borrowed from the Constitution of Britain. Till now, any president has been removed under the motion of impeachment. None of the presidents has been impeached. Under which article of the Indian Constitution can the president be impeached? So it is Article 61. Impeachment proceedings against the president shall be initiated in either of the houses. The ground of impeachment of the president is violation of the Constitution. The Indian president can be impeached by the parliament if he is charged with violation of the Constitution. Which one of the following takes part in the election of the president but has no role in his impeachment? It is the state legislative assemblies. The salary emoluments of which of the following is exempted from income tax? It is the president. He does not pay any taxes. Which one of the following statement is correct? President is not part of Council of Ministers and hence not permitted to attend its meetings. A bill presented in the Parliament becomes an act after the President has given his assent. Who occupied the President's office twice, two consecutive terms in our country? It was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Veto is the power of the executive to withhold or refuse assent to legislation. Vice President of India draws salary in the designation of Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Who will elect the Vice President of India? It is the Member of Parliament belonging to Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Full form of PIL is Public Interest Litigation. PIL can be resorted to in case of injury due to violation of constitutional provision. breach of any public duty, and violation of the law. The concept of PIL, which has become more popular in India in recent years, originated in United Kingdom. Who has the power to pardon in case of capital punishment? It is the President. Which article empowers the President to grant pardon? It is Article 72. The pardoning power shall be exercised by the President on the advice of the Home Minister. Who is authorized to transfer the judge of one high court to another high court? It is the President. Which of the following constitutional post is/are enjoyed for a fixed term? It is the President's post. The Constitution of India vests the executive power of the Union government in the President. Which article empowers the President to appoint Prime Minister of India? It is Article 74. Joint session of the Parliament was held in Prevention of Terrorism Ordinance Bill 2002, then Dowry Prohibition Bill 1961 and Banking Service Commission Bill 1978. Joint sitting of the two houses of the Parliament are held for resolution of a deadlock between the two houses on a non-money bill. The House of People Lok Sabha can be adjourned sine die by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. The President of India is the head of the state. The President of India is elected through an electoral college. The President holds office for a term of 5 years from the date on which the practice of President addressing Parliament has been adopted from the Constitution of United Kingdom. Which one of the following does not take part in the election of the President? It is the members of the Legislative Council. The name of the candidate for the office of President of India has to be proposed by any 50 members of the Electoral College. The first President of Indian Republic was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Radhakrishnan got a Bharat Ratna award before becoming the President of India. The first Muslim President of India was Dr. Zakir Hussain. Which one of the following has been elected President of India unopposed? That was Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy. Which one of the following political leaders successfully held the office of the Chief Minister, Speaker of the Lok Sabha and President of the India? So it was Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy. Which one of the following Chief Justice of India enjoys the distinction of having acted as President of India? That was Justice M. Hidayatullah. The election of the office of President is conducted by the Election Commission. Before entering upon office, the President has to take an oath or an affirmation which is administered by the Chief Justice of India. The procedure of election of the President of India can be modified through an amendment in the Constitution, which must be passed by a two-third majority of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha and ratified by the legislature of at least half the states. This is also the third method of amendment. The President can nominate two members of the Lok Sabha to give representation to the Anglo-Indian community. The President, the head of the state under the parliamentary system prevailing in India, enjoys only nominal powers. The final authority to make a proclamation of emergency rests with the President. The President can grant pardon in all cases of punishment by court-martial, all cases involving death sentence and all offences against law in the Union and concurrent lists. The President of India is not having power to control judiciary. Which one of the what are the financial powers enjoyed by the President? So number one is money bills can be introduced in the Parliament. They need President's affirmation. The President appoints the Finance Commission to recommend the distribution of taxes between the Union and state government. And number three is the President can advance money out of the Contingency Fund of India. The President can make laws through ordinances during the recess of the Parliament. Where are disputes regarding election of the President and Vice President filed and settled? So those are settled in the Supreme Court. If the president wants to tender the resignation before expiry of normal term, she has to address the same to the vice president. When does the president uses his discretion in appointing the prime minister? When no political party enjoys majority in Lok Sabha. What is the maximum age for election to the office of the president? There is no age limit given. President can be impeached from office on grounds of violating the constitution by two houses of the parliament. Impeachment proceedings against the President of India can be initiated in either of the houses of the parliament. Impeachment proceedings can be initiated against the President in either house of the parliament only if a resolution signed by 25% of the total members of the house is moved. In the event of death or resignation of the President, the Vice President discharges the duties of the office of the President for a maximum period of 6 months. In case of Vice President is not available to discharge the duties of the office of the President, these duties are discharged by the Chief Justice of India, and in case Chief Justice is also not present, then the senior most judge of the Supreme Court takes discharge. If the office of the President, Vice President and Chief Justice of India falls vacant simultaneously, who succeeds the office of the President? As I told you just now, it is the senior most judge of the Supreme Court. When the office of the President falls vacant, the same must be filled within 6 months. Who is legally competent to declare war and conclude peace? It is the President. The President of India made use of his/her veto power only once in the Indian Post Office Amendment Bill. An ordinance promulgated by the President usually remains in force for 6 weeks after the commencement of the next session of the Parliament. The President can promulgate an ordinance only when the Parliament is not in session. Proclamation of President's rule in the state can be made, and this can be made under Article 356 if a President, on receipt of a report from the Governor of the state or otherwise, is satisfied that a situation has arisen in which the government of the state cannot be carried on in accordance with the provision of the Constitution. The President can dismiss a member of the Council of Ministers on the recommendation of the Prime Minister. The President address is prepared by the Prime Minister and her cabinet. The President of India is elected on the basis of proportional representation by a single transferable vote. Who will appoint the Attorney General of India? It is the President. The Vice President of India is elected by a member of Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha at a joint sitting. Vice President of India can be removed from office before expiry of his/her term by the two houses of the Parliament. The Vice President of India discharges the duties of a President in the event of his death, his resignation, and his absence due to illness. The Vice President of India is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Who decides the disputes regarding the election of the Vice President? It is the Supreme Court of India. The Vice President discharges the duty of the President during his/her illness for a maximum period of, and he does so indefinitely. When the Vice President discharges duties of office of President, he is entitled to salary and allowances attached to the President's office. The Vice President has right to preside over the Rajya Sabha. No criminal proceeding shall be instituted during his term of office against the Vice President. Among which one consists of correct combination of dignitaries who became Vice Presidents after having held diplomatic positions? So it is S. Radhakrishnan and G.S. Pathak. Which one of the following Vice Presidents resigned from his office to contest for the office of the President? It was V.V. Giri. So guys, this brings us to the end of part 9 of this particular chapter on the revision of Constitution. And I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Do like and subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon for notification of new videos from UPSC Logics. Thank you so much for watching, and Jai Hind.